Hi guys, thank you for watching another video. Today I'm going to give you a quick review of the KitchenAid Artisan Stand Mixer. That is our topic for this Providing Resources for Emergency Preparedness YouTube video. A lot of my baking videos use this KitchenAid Artisan Stand Mixer, and I use the stand mixer a lot, and especially when I'm baking my bread. That helps me use my wheat and rotate through my food storage. So I wanted to give you guys a quick review to let you know why I use this KitchenAid Stand Mixer so much and how it can help you rotate through your food storage and also help you in your bread making. So I just want to go over the features of the machine and what you get in the kit, and then I'll get into some of my reviews, and I will start with the negatives, and then I'll always like to end on a positive note, so then we'll move on there. So the first overall, this is a good heavy duty machine, and it has some weight to it. When you pick it up, you really feel the weight of the machine. And when you get your KitchenAid Stand Mixer, it comes with this great instructional book, and they even have recipes in the book. I haven't tried any of the recipes yet, but they do have great recipes in here and instructions. So that's the first thing you'll get. And of course, I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see it better. You get a beater, which I have already attached here. And you also get a wire whip and a dough hook. You get the splash guard, which is, this is a 2-piece splash guard, and you get a 5-quart bowl, which is right here. And as you can see, it was very easy for me to take these things apart and use them. So what I like about the KitchenAid Stand Mixer, as I mentioned earlier, is it is heavy duty. It's heavy duty. It's not a cheap product. And when you're paying upwards to $300 for a stand mixer, depending on the model you buy, you want it to be a workhorse. And this is something that I see myself passing down to my daughter and being in my house for years to come, because it is a workhorse, and I've had mine for about 6-7 years now, and I use it all the time. I mean, all the time. If I'm baking something or making something, this baby comes out. So I wanted to share that with you. So I want to talk about the negatives of the KitchenAid Stand Mixer, and I only have one negative for the stand mixer. And I would like the head to come up a little bit more, but it's totally workable. But for me, for getting the attachments on and off when I have the bowl, I just like the head to tilt back a little bit more. But they do have the updated models that the bowl lifts up. So KitchenAid has already addressed and resolved that problem. So that's the only negative of this machine. And that's because I have the Artisan Stand model, and I don't have the bowl lift kind, and I probably never will have the bowl lift kind, because this is such a workhorse, I never see it going bad. So this will be my baby for life, unless I pass it down to my daughter. So that's the negative. So I want to get into all of the positives, and there are many about this machine. This machine makes baking and cooking so easy. And for me and my family, I bake a lot, I cook a lot, and so I need something that can really get in there and help make my cooking experience easier and simpler. Because we don't want cooking to be a task, we want it to be easy and simple. And this KitchenAid Stand Mixer helps me in that way. And one thing I really like about it is it's easy to add the bowl. So you just place it here, and they have these little grooves. You place it here in the groove, and you just lock it on. And then whether you want the paddle or the wire whisk, let me use the dough hook as an example. You come in here, and to add the dough hook, you see the little notch right here and this little button right here. You just line those up, twist it, and you see the little attachment right here, let it go, and you're all set and ready to work. It has a locking head feature where you can lock it down, and you see I can lift that up. That's very sturdy, and I'm only lifting that with the thumb, but this is a very heavy duty machine. And you lock it down good, and I'm going to turn it around here so you guys can continue to see, but it has several settings. It has 0 for stir, and when I add my flour, I always add it on just 1 to stir, and it goes all the way up to 10 if I want to get up some good heavy whipping cream. So, and you have this attachment feature here if you want to buy any of the other KitchenAid attachments. And the good thing about KitchenAid is that all of their attachments fit the machine no matter which machine you have. So I love that feature about KitchenAid. So no matter what model you have, this port right here is always going to be the same. So those are my favorites about KitchenAid. And also, the other benefit that I do like about KitchenAid is that it has so many attachments. If you want the pasta attachment or the meat grinder attachment, you can go out and you can purchase those separately to add to make this a full kitchen work center. And I have a few attachments, and I'm going to show you what those are. One of the things I did to make my baking experience better is instead of having one bowl, I went out and I purchased a second bowl. Because if you're like me and you cook a lot, especially on the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and Super Bowl and things like that, you do up a lot of whipping. And I found it easier for me to just run out to Macy's and purchase a second bowl. Now, I've known people who purchase second machines, totally unnecessary. All you really need is a second bowl. And this, I think, was $35, but I had a coupon. 15% off Macy's Houseware, so that came off to $35. The other thing I purchased to make my baking experience easier, KitchenAid gives you a splash guard, and this is a 2-piece splash guard. You set it right here on the thing, on the bowl, and you add the lip. See how easy that is? And you can move it around to where it works best for you. But to me, that wasn't the one I wanted. So I went out and I purchased a single splash guard. So I just slide this on. It wasn't necessary because this works for me, but when I'm in the middle of cooking, I don't want to deal with 2 pieces. So I went and I upgraded to the single splash guard, and as you can see here, it goes on easy. You can lower it down, and then you can move it around. So then I can add my flour when I'm making my bread dough and it doesn't kick up on me. So that was my other good thing I like about the KitchenAid Stand Mixer, that they have the attachments that work for you and your family. And when I make my bread in this and I use this dough hook, it doesn't rock. It doesn't, maybe if I take it off the cord, it doesn't rock, it doesn't shake. My counters, it whips up just as easy, and you'll hear it in the background of some of my other videos if you've ever watched my videos before, but this is a great workhorse. So I want to show you my last attachment that I have for my KitchenAid Stand Mixer and my review of it. And as you can see through my basic baking videos, I love this because I use it all the time. I also brought the ice cream attachment, and I absolutely love this. Last year, me and my daughter went through the process of testing ice cream recipes, and we said the third time was the charm. After we got the last final recipe right, it turned out beautiful, and we were able to produce a beautiful Oreo cookie ice cream. So I wanted to tell you about this ice cream maker attachment. This is super, super easy to use. Now, if you have the classic, you need to use this piece, but since I have the Artisan, I don't. So to use the ice cream maker is very simple. You have these little gray grips here, and you're going to line them with here and put this through the hole here like my finger shows right here. And all you do is you give it a little push, right? So then my KitchenAid Stand Mixer already has the grip, so you line this up and you give it a twist. And then that's attached really good. But this you want to put in your freezer for at least 24 hours. I would even say 48 hours. And I have a deep freezer in my kitchen that makes everything rock brick cold. So once I put this in for 48 hours, I know I'm going to make ice cream. I put this in and I get it nice and cold. This has the grooves right here and the grooves right here. And there's a little hole inside there where this knob goes. So you just set it down in here and line it up, and then you bring this down where it lines up even, and then that will attach. So you make sure that your bowl is nice and cold. You add your little paddle attachment. You turn it on. Mine's not plugged up. I'm going to plug it up for you real quick. Make sure it's off. And you will see it goes around. Okay. Since I don't have anything in there, I'm not going to let it scrape. But this works fine, and it turns out some beautiful ice cream. And me and my daughter, we make this in the summer or in the winter. Whenever we find out we want to make ice cream, we make it and we stop buying ice cream. So, and you can use your powdered milk to make your ice cream as well if you have that in your food storage prep. So I love this. This has a good motor in it. It really powers through everything, and everything I make, and it's, you know, of course, it'll knock out whipped cream and cakes and pies and brownies, but it's really good for doing your breads, your yeast breads especially, that you have to knead. And I always start kneading my yeast breads in my KitchenAid Stand Mixer with my dough hook before I bring them over here and finish kneading them on the counter. So I wanted to give you guys this quick review of the KitchenAid Artisan Stand Mixer. If you put this on your wish list for the future and you pick one up, you'll really enjoy it, because this particular product. So that's my review of the KitchenAid Stand Mixer. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and visit our website at www.providingresources.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.